Tonight on KGW News, shattering their sense of security.
I turn on the light and it's glass. I'm like, where is this glass from?
With a Portland home hit by a stray bullet, and they're not the only ones. Plus, a local realtor goes to check his bank account and finds tens of thousands of dollars missing.
Out of nowhere to who knows where, it's beyond frustrating.
But first, Oregon's second largest school district gets the go-ahead to cut hundreds of positions.
To say that I am concerned with the cuts is an understatement.
Thanks for joining us at 11. I'm David Molko. In a meeting tonight, the SalemKaiser School Board unanimously approved cuts to hundreds of positions, though before that, school leaders heard from concerned parents, students, and staff. Alma McCarty has the very latest from Salem.
Inside this building, school board members made what they called a difficult but necessary decision to eliminate 400 positions. The superintendent of SalemKaiser Schools restating again that the district just does not have the money to operate as it has been, leaving them with, quote, no good options.
The way that we built this package is first with just enormous regret and a sense of heavy responsibility. We have heard from commenters tonight, and we feel in our own hearts this same feeling that these reductions are not right.
Superintendent Andrea Castaneda echoing what many speakers attending the board meeting Tuesday night came there to say.
$70 million in budget cuts to an already underfunded school system will be detrimental to our students, but especially the students already pushed into the margins.
I urge you to reconsider the profound impact of cutting student-facing jobs.
Kelsey Miller, a middle school science teacher, criticized district leaders for the current situation.
And once again, as often happens in public education, the district is attempting to balance the budget on the backs of educators and students.
Despite these objections to the largest reduction in more than a decade, board members voted unanimously to approve the decision.
Please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. And it's heavy, it's difficult, and honestly, none of us wanted to do it.
Board Chair Karina Guzman-Ortiz says they voted on a maximum number of layoffs and that over the next month, the district will do what it can to lessen the impact, making slight adjustments to protect things like classroom ratios.
None of these positions being cut are about any individual. Every position is important to us, and that we will try to pivot as needed.
Educators and staff will receive notice on May 17th about the fate of their positions. In Salem, Alma McCarty, KGW News.
To get you caught up on tonight's other headlines, Clackamas County Sheriff's deputies are asking for help finding 7 people they say could be connected to a shooting at Clackamas Town Center. This was a week ago Sunday in the parking lot outside the Cheesecake Factory. Police say 2 groups of people were fighting before shots were fired. One person was taken to the hospital with a gunshot wound, though it is unclear if they suffered that injury at the shopping center. If you have any information, call the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office. A former Portland State University football player who pleaded guilty to manslaughter has now been sentenced for killing his girlfriend. Keenan Harpole received 23 years in prison with the possibility of a reduced sentence after 10 years. In 2022, he shot and killed 19-year-old Amara Marluke, also a PSU student. Her family members say they had seen warning signs of domestic violence in their relationship. And the former mayor of Beaverton has been arrested for violating the terms of his supervised release after he served prison time for child pornography. In 2022, Denny Doyle pleaded guilty to 1 count of possession after investigators say he downloaded hundreds of explicit images of children under 12 during his time in office. Doyle was sentenced to 6 months in federal prison and 5 years supervised release, and also had to register as a sex offender. Doyle was arrested Monday by the U.S. Marshals Service. New tonight, Northwest Natural Gas customers could see a rate hike by the end of the year. And this evening, people had a chance to weigh in. Catherine Cook is in the newsroom with more on what Northwest Natural is asking customers to pay and why. Catherine?
David, if approved, the rate increase would mean just under $155 million more in revenue for Northwest Natural. Percentage-wise, residential customers would see an 18.8% increase. That means, on average, a single-family home would pay around $14.38 more every month. The cost for commercial customers would also go up, but at a much lower rate. Northwest Natural says that money would cover the cost of seismic upgrades, help them modernize systems, address capacity constraints, and keep up with inflation. The state's Public Utility Commission, which will have to approve the increase, heard public testimony tonight, mostly from people in two camps. One included developers who support the rate increase and an expansion of natural gas access. And the other is against any increase in natural gas support because of environmental concerns.
Use of gas to cook and to heat homes is bad for public health. So it isn't safe for public health. Second reason, our area is known to be subject to sizable earthquakes, and these are likely to rupture pipelines, causing explosions.
I'm a huge advocate for the freedom to choose the energy source that's available to us. Those that want to choose to be all electric are always free to do so. Why limit the majority of our customers' options to select a dual fuel?
And tonight's public hearing is part of a year-long review of Northwest Natural's rate increase proposal. If the Public Utility Commission approves the rate increase, it would take effect in November. David.
Thank you, Catherine. All right, let's take you outside on this Tuesday where we're in the mid to high 40s in the Rose City, though a heads up by tomorrow morning you could feel downright frosty, even frigid in some spots. Chief Meteorologist Matt Zafino keeping an eye on it for us. Matt?
There's a chill in the air out there for sure. We're at 46 degrees right now in Portland, and we're running a few degrees cooler than the same time last night. But it's already down to 40 in Hillsborough, 45 in Scappoose. We look around the state. Nobody is extremely cold just yet. We're in the 30s in Bend, 41 over in Tillamook. But again, we're running as many as 4 degrees cooler than we were compared to 24 hours ago, 5 degrees cooler in Hood River and around the state. Everybody is pretty much cooler except for down in Malheur County. Rome is warmer. So with that in mind, yes, we've got frost advisories in the light blue, freeze warnings in the purple areas around the region here. The freeze warnings, that's just a more severe application, if you will, of the frost advisory because temperatures will be colder. It'll be a hard freeze drop in the 20s in the Coast Range, Cascade foothills, and also out in the Gorge and the Hood River Valley. So if you jumped the gun and got your garden out, and you've got, say, tomato plants or any other plants that are, susceptible to freezing, you might want to think about protecting them overnight tonight, even in the Portland area, because we'll drop into the mid-30s and we will have frost. But in the rural areas, it'll be a widespread, thicker frost. But we got clear, warm days in the forecast and a bit of a weekend cool down. But that weekend forecast has changed a bit for the warmer and drier. Some great spring pictures coming up too, David. Back to you.
Sounds pretty good. Thank you, Matt. We are following up this evening on Portland's fentanyl state of emergency and the pilot project that pairs police with outreach workers to try and connect homeless people with services. Now, new data shows since mid-December to late February, they interacted with about 100 people on the streets. Of those, half expressed an interest in services. You see it there, 52. 37 were connected. So the data shows not everybody who wanted help got it because there are simply not enough recovery services available.
My addiction's so bad. I'm a polysubstance user. I've been an addict since I was 11 years old. My father stuck a needle in my arm.
We have a revolving door of people accessing just one siloed service and not actually benefiting, not becoming well, not achieving wellness, but instead just going back into the community to where they came from and experiencing the same cycle.
Right now, the teams are focused chiefly on Old Town. County commissioners today, almost across the board, called for their efforts to be extended county-wide. Well, let us talk about the Oregon primary now, with the drug crisis certainly one of the big topics on the ballot, including in Clackamas County. And next month, voters there will decide whether to re-elect the chair, Tootie Smith. Pat Doris talked to Smith ahead of the vote. We're going to hear from her later this week. But tonight, he caught up with her leading challenger, former Sheriff Craig Roberts.
Craig Roberts was born and raised in Clackamas County. He served as the county sheriff from 2005 through the end of 2020. That included devastating wildfires and much more. He's since been retired, but said he felt compelled to return to public office to help fix some of the big issues like affordable housing, along with drug abuse and mental health issues.
No, there's a whole host of other things that really separate me from Tootie Smith. I mean, one of the things that I really bring to the table and that, you know, I'm an honor to be a part of, but, you know, I created the largest drug and alcohol treatment program in the state of Oregon, 80 beds. And it took us years to figure out how to make that program successful. We looked at national best practices. We have an 88% success rate. And our goal is, I cannot fix somebody's drug and alcohol issues in 30 days. It takes 12 to 18 months. We put you into clean and sober living, and there's accountabilities along the way. And so 2 years after they've been released from our program, there's no rearrest. They're doing well in the community. And it takes longer, and it has to be a commitment. And so right now, what's happening is, there is a lot of money for drug and alcohol treatment and a lot of services, but what is happening so often is they're throwing money at, let's get this building. It's the program that runs the building that makes the difference. It's not the building.
One of those buildings that's become a real sticking point in the county is the new courthouse. I asked Roberts what he would do to try to get the budget for that project under control. You can watch his answer and our full interview. It's up now. It's in the story section of the KGW YouTube channel.
All right, on Wednesday, Pat will chat one-on-one with the current county chair, Tootie Smith. That's tomorrow night at 6:30 on The Story, only here on KGW. And straight ahead on KGW News at 11, shattering a mirror and their sense of security. The homeowners who are calling a stray bullet the last straw, and it's not the only one. And later.
It blows my mind that anybody could look at that and not say, oh, clearly you were hacked and it was gone.
Oh, how much one man says hackers stole right from his bank account in just 24 hours.